Hello, supply chain world. My name is Bill Dubois. I'm with Kinaxis, and I have the pleasure today to be speaking with Lora Cecere about elevating your supply chain planning experience in an SAP environment. And Laura, I think you're the perfect person to do that. What we're talking about is the impact of the IT community in an SAP environment. We've already talked about the impact, elevating that planning experience from a functional standpoint and an economic standpoint. So a lot of the answers, I believe, are already in the blogs. But when it comes to the IT community, generally speaking, from our experience, nobody would want to buy from another vendor. Everybody would just prefer to get, it just seems to be the simple thing to do. I buy from one vendor. Can you, with today's volatility and complexity, can a company do that? Can they get a single view of their supply chain, that global visibility on one system?
Today's organizations are very complex. The average company has 10 ERP instances. Yeah. They may be from the same vendor, but they're very different, and they've got 5 to 7 advanced planning systems. So already we've got a lot of complexity, right? Yeah. But SAP had 40% of the supply chain planning market, but APO had a lot of gaps in that many industries lacked the ability to get a feasible plan, what-if analysis, the ability to simulate, and user satisfaction was pretty low, which led people into Excel spreadsheets. And you and I know that you can't really manage supply chain well in an Excel spreadsheet. So people say to me, well, I don't want another vendor. But I say to them, look at the number of consultants coming in your door that you're paying to try to make SAP do something that it wasn't designed to do. Now, I believe SAP is the best at building software when they're clear, but I think that the design of APO and IBP is fundamentally flawed. And we're seeing that in user satisfaction and also the fact that people are not able to use it without heavy dependency on Excel and other descriptive analytics. So if you want a feasible plan, and if you want what-if analysis, and you want the ability to be agile, you really have got to think about augmenting the basic functionality of SAP planning.
So that's a great point about focusing on those core capabilities. And so I think, what advice then would you give to that IT community to kind of align with the business? I think, from our experience, the best practices are when the IT community really serves the business community. What have you seen in your experience?
Well, I think that the IT community is under a lot of pressure for cost and very focused on total cost of ownership. But in the case of planning, is it total cost of ownership or is it total cost of opportunity? And so align with the business to be able to look at, are the current systems able to do modeling to deliver reliable answers to customers, reliable, available to promise signals? What is your forecast value add? Really test and measure how you're doing in planning. And then be able to partner and perhaps, because the IT budgets are under very tight scrutiny, perhaps the line of business can help you self-fund this through cost savings or opportunities that allow you to get some budget relief. Now, I often find that the IT organization is reporting to finance, and that finance doesn't really necessarily understand planning. They tend to be much more transactional and understanding. So I encourage people to take the last year and to look at times where the supply chain failed and to look at what could planning have done to have solved those issues, and look hard at the current value of things like forecast value add, because I find that many people have implemented technologies but have actually, because of process evolution, started to actually see a degradation in forecast capabilities. Or the ability to really drive value in the S&OP processes or schedule adherence. So look at what are you really getting from supply chain against those gaps that you had in the business. And I find that's very, very helpful.
And you get the IT community out of their server rooms and talking to what the business really needs. So that focus not just on, nobody saved their way to profitability before, but not just about cutting costs, but, the opportunities. I think that's great advice.
It's so funny, Bill, because I do these boot camps and I start with crayons and paper, right? And people are really awkward when you say, draw a supply chain, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, and what I find is that 99% of companies and people will start with the suppliers, but really the value is with the customers,
That's
right? And you don't get to customer information in the supply chain through CRM integration. CRM was really about sales and marketing efficiency.
Yeah.
You get to really customer-centric supply chains by understanding what is needed at a delivery level, at an order quantity level, at a cost to serve level, and to be able to model that in planning. And it requires new techniques that aren't available in APO or IBP.
Okay, one more question for the IT community, and we hear this argument all the time, is it's the conversation around integration. So one vendor, regardless if it's SAP or what, if I just go to what that one ERP vendor will solve all my integration problems. Now there's still integration points regardless, I believe, but what do you say to the IT person where in an SAP environment where you say we're going to go single vendor so I don't have to worry about integration?
I can't believe people believe that myth. It's kind of funny to me because, if you look at a single vendor choice, and you use the kind of ruse of integration, best of breed providers have actually been integrating into the SAP environment very, very effectively for over 3 decades. And in fact, I find higher user satisfaction on integration from those deployments of best of breed providers. Where I find their issues are often where system integrators who don't know the solutions will come in and botch the integration. So I'm like, okay, let's just look at the facts, not the rumors. A single solution may help you with signing the contract and paying the bill, but doesn't necessarily drive value at the data level.
I love that you said fact, and the reason I think it's great that you're on it, the opinions expressed in today's video, they're based on fact, because I think it's really important that people get the facts, and this would be a great place to get those facts. So 6 times a year I do independent research where I use my LinkedIn group to actually be my independent source, and that allows me to do research very differently than other research firms because I know the companies of the individuals, which allows me to triangulate to the financial data to look at the impact of choices people make on balance sheets. Right now we're doing a user satisfaction survey where we're looking at how satisfied are planners by age group, millennials versus baby boomers, versus types of solutions, global versus regional supply chains, to understand planner satisfaction. I got to tell you, Bill, I think we should be worried because planners are not very satisfied. And one of the risks of the supply chain is turnover. And in my time of being an analyst, I have watched the salaries of planners increase by 40%, and they're turning over because they're not in environments where they feel valued. In fact, one of the best read blog posts that I have is, have you given your demand planner some love today? Because they don't feel loved and they feel like they're in an environment where they're not supported. And so when they come up with 60% error, that may be the forecastability of that particular product, but they feel like that, they can't have a just data-driven discussion because of the lack of understanding. So have systems that people can use, that they like to use, make their jobs easy, try to create an environment where you can have a data-driven discussion about the business and make planning work. That's going to be a great resource for the IT communities out there. But Laura, thanks very much. Thanks, Bill. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Don't forget to check out Laura's blog. So again, thanks very much. Thanks, Bill.